Over the last 6 years, I've helped hundreds of freelancers scale to multiple 4 figures per month. And truthfully, our LinkedIn outreach strategy has been the reason for more than 90% of our success stories. In this video, I'm gonna go over the step-by-step process we use for our clients that gets them 10 to 15 qualified sales appointments every single month. Let's get right into it. All right, so before we get into the actual strategy, let's go over some results that this blueprint has generated for our clients, right? So we have Nadia here. She made $50,000 in just 4 months with this type of system. Ashley closed at $6,000 retainer in just 2 weeks of working with us. David is now making $170,000 a year. Jason is on track to hit $200,000 this year. So a lot of crazy results like these. So now let's actually get into the process and how you can get similar results to these, okay? Step number one that we're going to talk about is LinkedIn profile optimization. Before we even get into outreach and sales and these types of things, we need to talk about optimizing your profile. Because think about it. When you receive a message from someone, what is the first thing you do? You check their profile, right? It's like, especially if they're a stranger. And your LinkedIn profile, you have to understand this, that it's essentially your sales funnel. Okay, and most writers get this completely wrong, and they try making it into a resume type profile, right? But your LinkedIn profile is actually your sales funnel. Here's what you need to focus on. The first thing is your profile photo must be professional, okay? It needs to be a clear headshot, casual, good lighting, okay? No vacation photos, no group shots, no cringy pictures, and definitely no AI generated images, right? This right here is Alan. He's one of our clients, and this is a perfect example of a great profile picture, right? It looks very professional, and it screams professionalism when you look at it, right? So that's pretty much it. Next up, your banner needs to communicate your value proposition at a glance. I need you to create a custom banner that includes your offer and a quick punchline about what you do, right? Just like this one right here, thought leadership content writer, driving growth through authenticity and trust, brands I've worked with, and then we have a couple of remarkable brands here. And a quick tip with your banner, you should always leave like 20% or 30% of the left side blank, because this is actually where your profile picture is going to come in. So if you optimize it to start from around here, it's going to line up very nicely with the profile picture instead of the text being hidden by it. Okay, that's just a small trick right there that's going to help you. Now, your headline is also critical because this is prime real estate. Stop having your headline just as freelance writer or your studies or anything like that. That's a huge mistake. Headlines should act as a hook that makes people want to read more. And it should be client focused and speak directly to the pain points of your ideal clients. Here's what you can try instead. Something like helping e-commerce brands and service providers boost sales plus business profitability with personality backed email marketing. Email strategist, ex-client served, right? This screams what you do. It screams and it speaks directly to the customer, right? Because businesses, they want more profitability, right? And they want more personality. So it speaks to their desire. And it also builds social proof and trust because we mentioned the number of clients. In the best case scenario, we would also have a website link under the headline, right? So this tells your potential clients what you do, who you help, and what results they can expect. That's literally the formula, okay? It's not that complicated. Your about section then should be a mini sales letter to sell your services, not a resume, okay? Nobody cares where you went to college, what you studied, what your passion is, okay? Like, great for you, but nobody cares in terms of potential clients, right? So that's why instead of wasting that real estate, thinking that people are going to relate to you because you're into golf or whatever, you should structure your about section as a sales letter where you address their pain points, you explain why your approach is different, you show proof, aka results, testimonial, or experience, and you include a clear call to action, okay? So you literally just focus your about section on them. It's not about you anymore, it's about them, okay? And that's the biggest life hack on LinkedIn because everyone goes through your about section. And if you can pull them in with a nice sales letter and make them stick until the end and click the call to action, then you just won an appointment with a potential client rather than a comment that I love dogs too, okay? That's the difference. Next up, you also want to use LinkedIn recommendations to show case studies and testimonials in past work, right? So as many recommendations as you can get from past clients, the better the results are going to be. Remember, your profile isn't about you.
As ironically as that sounds, okay, it's about showing potential clients that you understand their problems and you can solve them. Okay, if you can use that digital real estate to do that instead of talking about yourself, you are going to win. Step number 2, LinkedIn target market research. Important. If you're serious about generating leads on LinkedIn, I highly suggest that you invest in Sales Navigator Core. Okay, it's one of LinkedIn's premium versions. Okay, and it's like $100 a month. And I promise you that it's going to change your life when it comes to lead generation and targeting potential clients. Let's go over its main advantages. With Sales Navigator, you will get access to powerful targeting features that completely transform your lead generation efforts. First of all, you have a tool that allows you to create lead lists packed with high value and qualified people, right? So you're not going to have to just scavenge LinkedIn or Google or ChatGPT for leads anymore. Second of all, it increases your outreach limits significantly so you can hit more touch points. So you're going to go from sending 250 messages in a month to being able to send up to 1,300, 1,400 DMs every single month, right? So that's like a 5x increase in the potential volume of outreach, which means 5x more clients for you, right? And third of all, it makes your profile look more legit and verified. Okay, that's clear. If someone has premium and they have the features of premium on their profile, it shows people that, hey, I'm serious, I'm paying for this profile to showcase my skills and so on, right? And lastly, it opens up a new search outreach methods that will allow you to send hundreds of DMs per day without an issue, right? Unlike the regular LinkedIn, where you are limited by the amount of notes you can add to your connection requests, you are limited by the amount of connection requests you can send per week, you are limited by a lot of things, right? So it's definitely worth the money. These features are not just nice to have, they're essential for creating hyper-targeted lists of decision makers who are most likely to need your services. Now let's go over a quick demonstration of how this list building thing works. So here I am on Sales Navigator, right? And whenever you invest in LinkedIn Sales Navigator, a new menu will pop up, okay? So you will have like a small Sales Navigator icon that you can open. Now, what can you do here? Well, first things first, if I go here and I click on lead filters, I have all of this criteria here that I can use to find potential clients, right? So I can literally just go and I can put in the geography to United States. So it's only going to show me US leads. I can go and I can find my industry here, right? So let's say that you are a copywriter for financial service companies and like finance companies. So boom, I can select this right here. And then let's say you want to look specifically for business owners, right? So we can add keywords to the current job title like co-owner, co-founder, founder, CEO. Maybe you want to reach out to CMOs, head of marketing, right? So this is going to give us a list of super qualified people, right? So it already has 340,000 results in the US. And you can do even more narrowing down. You can go by company headcount and you can literally just choose whatever headcount is suitable for you. So let's say you only work with startups, then you can choose 1 to 10 and it's only going to give you small companies, and you can also play with the years in current position of the founder. So in this scenario, if you're looking for startups specifically, we might want to go for people that have been a business owner for less than a year and maybe maximum 1 to 2 years, right? And now you have a hyper targeted list of leads that are potential startup founders in the finance space in the US. And on the other side, you can play with a lot of other filters here, right? So you can also choose this one, which says posted on LinkedIn. So it's going to show you only people that posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. This is absolutely amazing if you want to make sure that people are engaged and that they're active on the platform. You can even save these leads and you can create like lists in here for the future, right? So you can save people. And then lastly, you can also flip the coin and you can look up people based on their companies. So if you just go here in the top menu and you go from lead to account, then you're going to be able to see that now I can see companies, right? So there's certain filters that I can play with here as well. I can go and I can look at annual revenue. So let's say that I want to go for financial services, US, and I want their annual revenue to be between 1 million and 10 million. And I'm just click on add, and there we go. I just have 91,000 companies that have this type of revenue in this country in this industry, and I can even go and I can update the company headcount. I can look at the department headcount growth, right? This isn't a very useful filter, but you still have it. Um, Job opportunities. So we can go here, hiring on LinkedIn, for instance. This one is a very good one. And now I have 3,000 companies that are hiring on LinkedIn. What this means is that no, you're not going to apply to random jobs. But if they're hiring, doesn't matter if they're hiring a writer or not, they might be on a round of hiring more people. So maybe you can reach out and explain the value of hiring you as well on their team. Right, so that's pretty much how you can play with Sales Navigator, and then you can save the searches. Right, so let's say this list right here, like it's amazing. You want to reach out to them, you just click here and you're going to be able to save the search, right? And if you go to saved searches, you're going to have a lot of options here to customize the name and everything else in the search, right? So I can literally name this finance companies 1 to 10 mil hiring now, and this is going to give me a good bird's eye view on who I'm targeting here. And now with these companies, what I can do is, let's say I want to find the decision maker of Acumen, right? So I just click on their employees here, and it's going to give me a list of all their employees. And now I can just go to seniority level here, okay, on the left side, and I can just go with owner and partner, okay? And what that's going to do is it's going to send me 24 results of people that are, as you can see, board members, owner, okay, this is the business owner right here, literally. So that's how you can, and these ones are irrelevant, you're going to have a lot of these as well. But this is literally how you can find leads with Sales Navigator. And I'm pretty sure that by this point, you pretty much understand why it's way easier than just regular LinkedIn. Okay, so with that being said, let's go back into our presentation here. Step number 3 is the connection strategy. Okay, so now that you know how to use Sales Navigator to find leads, you should go ahead and you should build your own lists. Okay, you should build 5 to 10 lead lists that you can rely on for the strategy, right? The first thing to understand is that outbound marketing, which we're going to use on LinkedIn, is a volume game. Okay, so it doesn't matter like how much you personalize the messages, none of that matters. Okay, it's all about volume and putting yourself in front of as many people as possible. And the more quality messages you send, the better your results will be. Most writers, they fail because they send 5 to 10 messages a day and they give up when they don't get immediate results. That's the sad reality, right? And you're there thinking, oh my God, I've put so much effort into sending 5 to 10 messages a day and nobody's responding. Well, let me break the news to you. You need to be sending 80 to 100 messages daily to see significant results. And this isn't a number that I created just based on assumptions. This is what we're sending on a daily basis for our clients, and we are getting results with this. But if we were to send any less than that, we would still get results, but not to the level of building a sustainable business. But volume without quality is also useless, right? So as long as personalization, as much as personalization doesn't matter, quality of the message matters. Okay, we use 2 frameworks that consistently get results with the outbound prospecting. First of all is the authority framework, which basically relies on a case study / result that you have already. And it goes something like, I recently helped this client achieve this result through my service. Worth the chat. An example could be, I recently helped HubSpot increase their blog conversion rate by 34% through my strategic SEO content. Worth a chat, right? So this is the authority framework where I show people that, hey, I work with this person that you probably know, and I help them get this, which I know you want too. So would that be worth a quick chat? And of course, people are going to say yes to that, right? It's just like telling a McDonald's competitor that you help McDonald's get more sales, and you can do that for them as well, right? Of course, everyone's going to be interested. And then you have the desire framework, because I'm pretty sure that some of you don't have case studies, don't have testimonials or results that you can share. So this is where you just basically go with your general market knowledge of what you know those people need, and you just build a promise, a assumption based on that. So you can be like, over the last X years, I've specialized in helping in X industry achieve X result through my service. Worth a chat. An example, over the last 5 years, I've specialized in helping SaaS companies reduce their customer acquisition costs by 32% by creating high converting website copy. Worth a quick chat. right? So this is where I know by doing research and by working with maybe like smaller clients or test clients that SaaS companies are looking to reduce acquisition costs, right? Because the less money they spend on the front end, the more money they make in the back end with the sales. So then I understand that problem, and then I think to myself, what can I do with my skill to solve that problem? And in this case, it would be high converting website copy. So that's what I offer to the potential client, right? So I hope it makes sense, and that's how you build an offer. I do have a lot more trainings on how to build offers in depth on the channel. So if you want to check those out, then you can go to my channel and watch those videos as well. So key takeaways from the outreach framework. It should be brief, results focused, and it should end with a simple call to action. You're not trying to sell in the first message, okay? You don't have to attach your portfolio and explain who you are and what you do and how much you charge and all that, okay? The goal of the first message is just to start a conversation, right? That's literally it. Like when you go and I'm gonna give you an example, right? When you go and you approach a girl because you like her, you're not gonna aim to marry her from the first line you're saying, right? You're gonna aim to make her laugh maybe and have a conversation, right? So then things can flow into the next steps and so on. It's the same thing with customers, right? You need to just focus on starting a conversation. And a quick tip here: the best time to send these messages on LinkedIn is between 8 and 10 a.m. EST, when people are checking LinkedIn during their morning routine, before they get busy with their day, before they hear the news at work, before they do any of that, right? So that's the best way and the best time to put yourself in contact with these people, because everyone is in a good state of mind when they're enjoying their morning coffee, okay? Not in the middle of the day when they're putting out fires and they don't have time to get back to you. That's a fact. Step number 4, now that we have the strategy to find leads, we know what Sales Navigator is, and we know how to craft a powerful outreach message, and we know what the purpose is, let me walk you through the booking sequence and how you can actually book appointments with your prospective clients. Here's where most writers drop the ball. They send a connection request, get accepted, send a DM, get a response, but then they don't know what to do next. Let me walk you through the exact sequence we use to book calls. And I'm going to give you a presentation here of how the sequence looks like, and then we're going to go in depth into it, okay? But it's pretty simple, guys. And look, I'm not one of those guys. I'm not going to try to make this look complicated just so I can show you how smart I am. This is literally it, okay? It's like super, super simple, basic stuff that works. So you send a connection request with an outreach as a note, and then you have two outcomes, right? They either reply or they don't. If they don't reply, you want to follow up 2 times with value. What I mean by that is, instead of sending those generic follow-ups like, are you here name, bumping this up, I hope the aliens didn't abduct you, blah, 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 that one is getting old as well. I would follow up with value, like, hey name, I went on your website and I noticed that. Could we talk about improving it? Or hey name, I created a quick 2-minute video going over how I helped this client achieve this result, right? And just basically following up with value, like following up and giving them something, like using the Gary Vee strategy, like give, and then get something, right? I'm pretty sure he wrote a book about a strategy like that. So that's what you need to do. And when people are going to see that you keep giving to them, even when you're following up, I promise you, nobody's doing that. So they're going to feel incentivized to get back to you. And even if they say no, it's still a win, because at least you started a conversation, okay? You have to remember that. Now, if they respond to the message, you have 2 outcomes again. Are they interested? Are they not interested? If they're not interested, you can at least try to get a referral from it. And I'm going to show you the referral script in just a second. If they're interested and they say, hey, Dennis, yeah, that sounds good, let's talk more about it, you propose a call and you ask for a phone number, right? Very frictionless, very simple, very clean, okay? You're interested? Give me your phone number. I'm going to give you a call so we can talk. And that's it. Now you just turn a lead that you found on LinkedIn into an actual conversation that you're going to have with someone. That's literally it. Here are the average response rates you should be expecting. So the average response rate our clients are getting is this right here, right? This is a sheet I calculated based around all their numbers. So the average reply rate is about 10%. The average positive response rate is about 20 to 30%. The average booking rate is 26% again, and then the booking rate from outreach is 0.8%, which means that out of every, let's say, 120, 130 messages, you should be booking an appointment, all right? Now, for those who don't respond, you want to follow up 3 times over the course of 1 to 2 weeks, okay? So, as I said here, just follow up 2 to 3 times with value, and make sure that every single follow-up counts, okay? Now, for those who respond but are not interested, do not just say thank you and move on. Instead, use this. It's what we call the referral partnership message. Absolutely no worries, name. Just curious. Do you know anyone who might be looking for insert your service? I pay a 10 to 15% referral fee for any introduction that leads to a client. Takes just 5 minutes of your time. Lol. This is not going to make you a millionaire, but over the course of a year, maybe, it's going to get you an extra client. Because out of hundreds of rejections every single month, I'm pretty sure there will be someone that's going to be like, oh, hey, how nice, like you sent me these resources, you followed up with me, you put so much effort into the conversation. The least I can do is introduce you to my friend that runs a business as well, and maybe you can take it from there. And that's it. And if you have a couple of conversations like that per year, I promise you it's going to result in an additional client. And guys, copy pasting this message rather than writing thank you, have a great day, it takes you the same amount of time, the same amount of effort, but the outcome is going to be way different. Now, for those who express interest, you do not immediately send a calendar link and you want to be like, okay, awesome, you're interested. Book a call here and let me guide you through my 1 hour sales process. No, that rarely works these days, okay? Instead, reduce the friction by asking for a quick phone call instead. Everybody can drop their phone number and then you have a lead that you can call every single day until they pick up and you can speak with them. So you can be like, awesome, name. I know your time is valuable. So before I ask for a bigger commitment to explore this further, I'd love to give you a quick 5-minute call to ask some questions and see if I can help in the first place. What is your mobile and the best time I can call? This approach feels less formal. It feels like a conversation that, hey, look, I just want to give you a call to see if this thing actually works, right? Rather than, hey, look, I'm the 10 millionth guy that's proposing a Zoom call over the next couple of days. And this will significantly increase your booking rate because now you're just getting phone numbers, right? You're like coming in every single second and you have leads to call. You have a pipeline to work with, okay? That's super, super important. And now let me also tell you like how this initial mini sales call should get conducted, right? Which is step number 5. Once you book the call, you just need to nail the conversation. And the phone call has 3 purposes. First of all, before we get into the 3 purposes, you need to make sure that you keep it very short, okay? Nobody wants to spend 30 minutes on the phone. So just keep it short, okay? And you want to do these 3 things. You want to qualify the lead, right? Do they need what you offer? You want to ask questions that will lead you to the decision of whether they need you or not, right? So if you're an email marketer and you ask them questions about their email marketing and it all seems to be perfect and you cannot really jump in and help them, then you want to obviously like assess it and just be like, hey, look, I cannot help you. Thank you. Have a good day, right? So you want to qualify the lead first, because if they don't have a need for what you offer, they're not going to buy. Step number 2 is to financially qualify them, right? And no, asking about budget on the phone is not rude, okay? You need to ask, can they afford your services? Because if not, you're going to be wasting their time as well with a call that doesn't make sense. So you literally just want to be like, hey, look, I want to be respectful of your time as well as mine. So I just want to ask, like, if we were to work together and everything would make sense and it would fit into what you're looking for, like what would be a budget that you could consider investing in something like this? And see how it aligns, right? And that's you go from there. And then number 3 is to build rapport and move them to a longer, more detailed call, because now I've earned their trust. I know they're qualified. I know they have money, so they're not going to waste my time, and they trust me more. So now it's time to actually propose a longer Zoom call, right? Like, hey, name, look, we've already been for like 12 minutes on the phone. I really think that we could work together. So let's actually set up a longer Zoom call. I can share my screen, show you what I do, show you the results, blah, 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 right? And then there you have it. You have a Zoom call that is qualified. You know they have money, and it's just a matter of you doing a great job at converting them into an actual client. All right, and for qualification, you want to ask specific questions about their business, their service needs, and their goals. And that's pretty much it. I already gave you these frames here, right? But just to give you a couple more examples, for financial qualification, you can be direct but frame it correctly. So just like I said earlier, if they ask what you charge, don't just give them a number, right? Frame it as an investment. So this is very important on the initial phone call, because there will be some people trying to brush you off and be like, how much do you charge? And no matter if you're going to say 1,000 or 10,000, I promise you, these people are not going to move forward. So what you can do is be like, yeah, so what I do is primarily custom work. So I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to give you a quote before looking deeper into your goals in business, but I can give you a range if that helps. So with my clients, for them to achieve an extra $100,000 in sales, they usually invest between $6,000 and $8,000 plus some commissions. Now, considering this could potentially get you an extra $87,000 in sales, as we discussed, would that be worth the investment? So now we're going from this is what it costs to, hey, if I were to get you this money, would it be less 10% of it? Do you see how I'm framing it? And now it's all going to make sense for the prospect. All right. If they're qualified both in terms of needs and budget, as I said, propose a Zoom call, and then you on that Zoom call, you can also present your work and make a formal proposal to them. Okay. Now, let me give you the extra step, because now you understand, okay, Dennis, I need to go build my profile, find leads, reach out to them, call them, be on the phone, and then get on a Zoom call. All right, I understand it. But let me give you the actual step that has been helping our clients achieve tremendously good results. And that extra step is scaling through delegation. Okay? The final step is where most writers never get to, but it's the key to truly scaling your client acquisition. You need to delegate the outreach process. Because as a writer, your highest value activities are writing and client work, not prospecting, right? And you have to think about it. Why do you exist as a freelancer? Why do people hire you? They hire you because they've got to a point in their business where they make enough money and they want to focus on more important things rather than copywriting, SEO, marketing, and that type of stuff. Or they don't know how to do it, right? And they just hire an expert to work with them. So why should it be any different for you then? Why don't you hire someone that can do the outreach for you, that knows how to do it better, and that it can help you delegate? Right? Because consistent prospecting is always essential for business growth. But I'm pretty sure, even looking at the 4 steps that I gave you, it sounds a bit complicated. And it is. I'm not going to lie. It's not something easy, right? It's a constant game that you have to play if you want to get results. But why not delegate it to someone else? That's the solution, right? What we do for our clients is we hire an outbound specialist to handle the prospecting for you. So all you have to do is take those pre-qualified warm Zoom calls, and that's it. And this doesn't have to be expensive. You can find skilled professionals in the Philippines for $3 to $10 an hour who can find and qualify leads, send personalized outreach messages, follow up consistently, manage conversations, book the appointments on our calendar, and some of them will even host the phone calls for you, right? And think about it this way: if prospecting takes you about 3 to 4 hours daily, you could outsource it for as little as $9 to $12 a day. That's the cost of a few coffees to free up 20 plus hours a week for client work. You could be making more money. You could use that time to spend it with your family, or use it to like do your hobbies, right? All of that while someone is religiously taking care of what needs to be done. The key to that, though, is to have a documented, proven process first. You need to test your messaging, perfect your approach, build a lead list, and then create a detailed standard operating procedure document to hand off to your specialist. And with this system in place, you will have a consistent flow of qualified appointments without spending your valuable time on prospecting. This is the exact system we use as well to build our business and get calls. And we start seeing results in as quick as 6 days once we implement it for a client. That's how long it takes for us to book the first call on average. And I've seen it work for hundreds of freelancers, not just writers, but also SEO specialists, email marketers, designers, and a bunch of other types of freelancers. And as shown earlier, these are just a handful of the results, right? These are just a couple of the people we work with out of the 130 plus clients we work with at the time of me recording this video. So, if you want to explore how we can work directly with you to take this whole process off your hands and implement it into your business without you lifting a finger, you could have everything set up for you in as little as 2 to 3 weeks. And if you want to get a customized plan on how to do it for your business, then check the link in the description for more details, or simply go to freelanceclients.com and you will learn all the details, and you will also be able to see more amazing case studies like these right here. So with that being said, appreciate you for watching this video. And if you want if you want to still do it by yourself, right, and you want to also know what to say on the Zoom calls that you're going to book, then you can click on the screen right now and go to this training where I go over our sales call process in depth, so you can really have the whole picture of how to do this by yourself. Okay, that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.